Hello, everybody, and welcome to this session of Talking Tech, Women and Girls in ICT. My name is Rasiga, and I work at EXXonMobil, and I'm excited to be having a discussion about tech and tech careers with Neetu from EY. Talking Tech is a series celebrating girls and women in tech being recorded around the world between Girls in ICT Day 2020 and Girls in ICT Day 2021. Girls in ICT Day is an international day marked on the fourth Thursday of each April. Last year, Girls in ICT Day was on the 23rd of April. The objectives of Girls in ICT Day are to help create a global environment that empowers and encourages girls and young women to consider studies and careers in the growing field of information and communication technologies. The Talking Tech series is brought to you by the ITU, UNICC, and the Office of the UN Secretary General's Envoy on Youth, and is in support of Equals, the global partnership for gender equality in the digital age. The goals of the series include to interest and inspire girls and younger women with information about a range of ICT careers that can be had, and also to bring before a broader audience some of the role model women in tech and share information about their career journeys and work. It also offers diverse examples of how ICT is being used to support achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals and other UN goals. Lastly, it provides girls and young women in tech with a leadership opportunity to represent and promote a girls in tech organization with which they are involved and promote it to a broader international audience. Now, before we begin this session, I would like to introduce myself. And as I have mentioned before, my name is Rasiga, and I currently work at EXXonMobil, which is one of the top global companies in the oil and gas industry. I did my schooling at Shanti Bhavan, which is a school that provides education and opportunities for children from underprivileged and backward classes. I then went on to do my Bachelor's of Science at Christ University, Bangalore, where I majored in computer science, mathematics, and statistics. Right after college, I joined EXxonMobil as a service delivery advisor and will be completing 2 years this coming August. Apart from this, I enjoy playing football. And as I already told you, I played for the college team as well as the Karnataka state team. Apart from that, I recently started learning how to cook, and I found a great passion in cooking. Now I'm delighted to shift to a conversation with Neetu Singh, who is heading the EY STEM Tribe program. Hi, Neetu. Hope you're doing well. I would love to hear more about you and maybe when and how did you get into technology and a little bit about your job.
Sure. Lovely to talk to you, Rasiga, again. And just a quick introduction. My name is Neetu Singh. My career also started with a STEM background. I studied chemistry honors back in college. I think in college I was studying to be a chemist, and I wanted to do that, but my career shifted when I started working with EY right out of college. I went to St. Stephen's College in Delhi. I've been with EY now for 15 years, and I've pretty much had a very interesting journey where I pretty much learned on the job. So like how you joined EXxonMobil right after your college, and this is your first job.
Yeah.
EY for me is also my first job. So yeah, so for me, I started working in the consulting space. So right from process consulting to strategy consulting, and across different sectors and in different geographies. So I think pretty much I have, worked in the consumer product space where I was, meeting perfumers in Paris, to working in the nonprofit sector where I was traveling to Africa, working with the nonprofit organizations, to the healthcare sector also, where we're working for the hospital. So I've got a very good exposure of the different processes that exist. And as part of that, tech was one of the pieces, right? Like when you go to a company and you're trying to understand the process of, let's say, how does HR work? Like how does recruitment happen? Now, there is a process to recruitment, but there are also systems behind it, which is the tech element of it, right? So that's how my knowledge of tech also evolved. But for me, my journey really started, I would say, is I used to manage one of the accounts here in EY, for which I used to travel all over the world for processes, how do we improve their processes? And then they'd come to me and they said that, we want to build a pricing system. So can you help us? And that's how I really started. with the whole building the pricing system. So that time I was really looking at the design of the pricing system. So my background is not really, I can't code when it comes to, that part of it, but I could design what needs to be coded. So, really I was building the design of that. That's how my journey really started in sort of the pure tech space. And then I also ended up working in the analytics space, trying to see how do we make things more efficient. Because if my team, I had a fairly big team of about 30 people. And I was like, every time they have to go through these exercises again, they have to keep doing these steps again. So can I not do something which really automates the stuff so that, the time that they're spending to redo all of those things, same kind of steps, it just gets automated and that time can be used for something else. So that's when I built an analytics system to improve the processes. So that's how really it started. And then I'd set up the blockchain practice here in EVA, India. So blockchain is a new technology. And I think at that point in time in my career, I was looking for a bigger challenge. I said, I want to do something more challenging. And that's when my mentors told me that, why don't you set up blockchain? So I had to really self-teach myself. So that was also a very interesting journey because, I set up the blockchain team. I built a few solutions for blockchain. And that's when I had the realization that there are not many women in tech, in the pure tech space. I must have interviewed some 50 people when I was setting up my blockchain team. And out of those 50 people, there were barely women. I used to barely get any CVs from women. And I think there were only 2 girls I'd interviewed. Everyone else were, like male. And I was like, why is this, and I realized that all of those biases, those subconscious things that, oh, blockchain is all coding is all men, all boys, all of that happens, right? So that's when I started working with our global team, which is a women in tech team, where our objective is to really promote, STEM and girls. So we run different initiatives for the entire value chain, right from, girls in school to girls who are already in their mid careers to, outside. So how do we encourage them? And I drive one of the programs, which is called the STEM Tribe program, where we've created a mobile app to really drive the STEM interest in the age group of 13 to 18-year-old girls. We've taken a lot of STEM content from, renowned universities like Stanford, Berkeley, etc., and gamified that content so that girls get excited. It's not like a textbook way of learning. It's not that, like how we go to school, a lot of times it's a lot of mugging way of teaching, right? So it's a bit different where we are saying that, okay, choose your journey and choose what interests you. Like maybe you are interested in tech, maybe you're interested in science, maybe you're interested in just hearing some inspirational stories. So we have all of that in the app, and every time they learn something, they get some points, and with those points they can win themselves some merchandise, or they can get to do an internship with us, or they can get mentorship sessions. So different things that are there. So I think that has been a pretty interesting and one of the programs that's very close to my heart in my 15 years of at EY. So we launched it last year in Delhi, Atlanta, and Seattle, and now we're scaling it across the globe to about 100,000 girls this year.
I really find the program that you started very interesting. I know that it's not actually available for, like, it's not available on App Store or something, right?
No, so it is there on the App Store. So last year when we launched the program, it was a closed access program because we were doing a pilot of that. And now as we scale, again, the scaling is, again, it's not a free access right now that anyone can, just go to. You'll find the app on the App Store. You won't be able to use it yet because you need a code for that. And all of that is something that we're doing with the collaboration partners. Like, for example, we collaborated with Delhi government and, we gave access to all the Delhi government schoolgirls. So as we add more and more partners on board, the people from, that background will have access to this app. This is not, one of our corporate programs. It's really for us giving back to the society and really building that talent pipeline, which in a way is our vested interest, right? We want to build our talent pipeline so that more women end up working for EVA in the tech space or even other organizations for that matter.
Really great to hear about that. Could you tell me, what do you like best about your job?
I think what I like best about my job is I get to learn a lot and I get a lot of different experiences, not just in terms of, the people I meet, the clients I have, there's constant learning. So in my 15 years, I would say, when I joined EY, I was just a bachelor's, right? But I have learned so much about different sectors. I met so many different people. from different geographies. So that for me is the most exciting part. And even in tech, the role that I do right now, for me, it is very exciting because in some way I feel that I'm able to give back, where even if, out of all the girls who are using the app, even if there's one person who gets inspired, like to take up this, for me, that would be, some difference. So for me, that's the most satisfying part about my job, that I'm able to, I've learned so much here at EY, and I'm able to now give back all again, with the firm's vision. So that's the most exciting part for me.
Sounds very exciting. I'd also love to give back to society maybe one day. Is there a lesson that you learned along the way that maybe you'd like to share to all the girls out here who are starting a career in tech?
I think what I'd like to tell everyone is that, we all get very influenced by our peer groups, whatever the usual norm is, right? Like I remember when my firm told me, why don't you set up blockchain practice? And I was talking to my friends, okay, all of them have gone to good colleges, very, whatever. But the first reaction I got from my one of my male friends, very close friend of mine, was, yeah, but you're not wired to do tech, like, and I was like, what does that even mean? Wired to do tech doesn't mean that I'm very tech savvy and I will look at all the gadgets and stuff. So I think the one thing I would like to tell everyone is that don't get influenced by your peer group, because a lot of our peer groups have, the usual biases in their mind. And tech is not just about coding, any job in tech is made up of so many different pieces, right? If you have a mobile app, you need someone to design that mobile app. There is so much creativity involved. Of course, you'll also need people who are going to code the front end, the back end, and all of that, right? But that's also fun. You don't look at coding as, oh, coding is like a boring thing. Anyone who loves maths and loves coding, like one of my very good friends, she writes all the algorithms for blockchain at the background, and she's just recently patented one of her things. So, there are so many different things. What you need to focus on is that what excites you. Like for me, I get excited about designing stuff, right? Whether it's designing a program, a process, or anything. So I get excited about designing. So you need to figure out what excites you, and then look at careers in tech. Not just already get influenced by your peer group, or just say, oh no, tech is only this kind of work, and so on. So that's the one advice I'd give, basis what I went through when I was getting started.
As you already know, I'm really unsure right now of what I want to do. And I think I'll maybe follow your advice and try to figure out all the different aspects of IT before I go into figuring out or going into one part of it.
I think all of us are always figuring things out.
Yeah.
As much as other people will look at the person and they're like, oh, this person has figured it out, has all sorted. All of us are constantly figuring things out. So first of all, I would say that, just accept it and embrace it, that it's okay to be in that space of figuring things out. And the only way to figure out things is to really, just do it. I think the biggest problem with all of us is that we are always, in motion, but we never take action. We are always work in motion. Yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, but we never even take the first step to do it and then know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. So I would say just try out things. Even if you fail, that's all right. Then you know that you don't want to do this, then you can move on to the next thing. But the problem is with all of us, and this is me also. I also learned by making mistakes. I also in my head used to be like, I want to do this, I want to do this. Yeah, maybe let me try this and then I'll do this. But the problem was, if I don't start, I wouldn't know. So just start, whatever it is. Fine, if you fail, you move on to the next one.
That is really great advice, Neetu, and I will surely follow it. Is there any challenge that you have encountered along the way? And if so, then how were you able to overcome them?
I think the challenges, whatever said and done, I don't want to also say that everything is hunky dory and, like everything is perfect.
Yeah.
When you are working in the tech space, of course, you're mainly surrounded by male, right? Colleagues. You don't have a lot of women around you. And this is not just for careers in tech. This could be in general, even in the corporate space or other spaces, right? The thing is that, there were different style of working vis-a-vis how male colleagues work. So I think it's important to have the confidence in yourself at all times. sometimes we tend to lose that confidence thinking that maybe the others are better and so on. So I would say just to always have that confidence, because I think there were times when I used to struggle and think that, oh, because I don't have a pure tech background, I didn't do a master's in tech and so on. I used to be a little hesitant about sometimes speaking up or putting my point across. When I realized that, my ideas were as good, it's just that there were times when I had self doubt and I had, low confidence. But that's the only thing that I need to work on myself, to be always confident and put it across. I mean, it's not a matter of life and death, right? If you share an idea and that idea is not good and someone tells you, okay, this is not the right thing, so what? You just get to learn. But I think sometimes all of us struggle with that self doubt and that self confidence sometimes. And especially when you're surrounded by all male colleagues, you can sometimes tend to get intimidated by, everyone around and all of that. So just, sort of be confident at all times. So yeah, that's one thing that I think I struggled with at times.
I'm still struggling with confidence. I don't speak up a lot, actually. I have a really hard time putting across my thoughts.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to work it out.
Yeah, so I mean, all of us are, yeah. Like when I say confidence, like a lot of it comes from within. And all of that confidence is coming from within is, the sense of self worth we feel about ourselves, about who we are as a person. And for that, I would like to believe that we need to have well rounded personalities, right? So I'm so happy to hear that, you play football and so on, because all of those things, really help us build our confidence and build a well rounded personality. Everyone talks about, teamwork. I mean, there's no better way of learning teamwork than
Than
playing
football.
playing football. What better teamwork, team building skills do you need?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that, all of us at all levels, no matter what our age is, I think we have to constantly work on ourselves, have a well-rounded life with well-rounded experiences. It can't just be only work. You have to have things outside of work also, right? That is your passion that motivates you. So yeah.
Yeah, and now that you talk about passion and outside work related things, what are your interests and hobbies?
I've also been a sports person at heart. I used to also play badminton. I used to play for Delhi back in school and college. And I think that's somehow stuck. So right now, the two things that really drive me. So I'm a runner. So I run marathons and I also run ultra runs, which is anything beyond 42 kilometers. So I do ultra running. And the second thing that that's my primary passion is mountaineering. So I pursue climbing, rock climbing, ice climbing. I climbed in Nepal last year. This year I climbed in India. I do have plans to climb a little bit more in Nepal. There's this one mountain I'm in love with, and I want to climb that next year. It's called Amadablam. So those are the two things that really are my passions outside of work: climbing and running.
Yeah, that comes to the end of the questions that I have for you. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask me?
No, so I think I'm going to ask you that what advice would you give? You're already now starting to work, right? If you were to give advice to, girls who are still in school or even girls your age, what advice are you going to give them?
That's
About,
kind of a really hard question. But I would say that, like you already said, we don't have things figured out, and you should not be scared of the fact that you don't know what you want to do with your career. You should take it a little bit slow and figure out what you like, what are your interests, and like how you told me, if I don't know, if I'm not able to play football, then maybe I should see what else I can do which is related to sports. Maybe we should start thinking about things that maybe connect to what we like. If we're not able to do exactly what we like, then maybe we should find out different things that we could do which is related to that. Basically, just be confident. Don't worry about not having everything figured out. Just roll with life.
yeah. And I think just keep experiencing new things, because,
Yeah,
right
and
now you may think, like, I think when I was in college, I wanted to be a journalist. And then when I saw different life experiences where I even worked for a TV channel, from the consulting side, I realized, no, this is not what I want to do. I want to do something else. So, that what you like will also keep changing basis your
yes.
experiences. Yeah. Okay, great. So it was lovely talking to you, Rasiga, and good luck for everything. Good luck for the tournament that's coming up. Well, I'm going to be cheering for Team Delhi, but yes, good luck. Good luck for your
We're definitely going to beat Hans FC.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you so much. It was lovely talking to you.